Five, four, three, two, one. Thunderbirds are go.
We're so honored to have you on, Dee Anderson. This is part of our childhood. This is like I'm getting, because it's very nostalgic, because I remember so
Oh,
vividly watching all those productions and how fantastic to have grown up with the puppets around you. And whoa, what a world you lived in, Dee.
it's really weird actually because I didn't think it was anything extraordinary at the time, but
Mm,
looking back, it was because I thought everybody was brought up like that. You know what I mean? As a kid, I thought everyone had sort of parents who produced puppet shows, but then I realized that they didn't. So I suddenly
it's
thought,
very
oh yeah, this
special.
is yeah, just me. Yeah, I think
Mm,
I was probably the first person to actually know that they weren't real people,
mm,
which did not spoil it for me because I used to love watching the programs, and I was
mm.
obsessed with Lady Penelope. I mean, I still am
Yeah,
actually.
I would have been. Yeah, I mean, what did you think? How old were you when you actually saw the puppets for the first time? When your parents let you in on
Oh,
what was happening,
prob-
and
well, before Thunder, I was probably the
Mm.
first time was probably about 8. I went to their studio in Maidenhead when they hired a ballroom in Maidenhead,
Oh,
and it was a dilapidated ballroom. That flooded, so they had to go across on a boat. That's why they got it cheap, you see.
ah,
And
okay.
my grandparents gave them some money to start out, and so they lined the walls with egg boxes because for the soundproofing, and it was again very
Soundproofing.
cheap.
Now, Dee, I just want to say, Plastic EP here from Melbourne, Australia. At a young age at state school, because we're under the Commonwealth, I was at Auburn South State School, right? And
Yeah.
I got to tell you, the first time the Thunderbirds came on our TV, and it was black and white here in Australia, in
Yes.
1965, when that came on, every child in the playground was talking about the Thunderbirds. And it's affected Australian culture right through all of his shows. Fireball
Yeah.
XL5. It just
Yeah.
Superstar.
continues on and on and on with the shows. And I'm
Mm,
saying your parents were pioneers. And not only did they do like a show coming out from the UK, which was so huge in the UK and internationally, it was like one of
hmm
the first kids shows that was international, and he used international voices, American voices,
Yep.
Australian voices. It
Yeah.
was the first real international TV show, and it never died. It's just got on and on. And even
Mm.
now in 2026, I talk to people my own age, which I'm not going to tell you my age, but you can work out in 1965 if I was around, right? I'm a baby boomer, and people still love the Thunderbirds today. And I mean, what
Yeah.
sort of a feeling is that you're here to, like, you lived it and you
I
still
Mm.
live
know.
it
I did.
today?
I did. I did live it. I did live it. And I remember it really clearly. And I remember them creating everything together. I remember their team, like it was like a family. They had about 100 people working with them. And I used to
Mm.
go into the studio. That's when they were on the Slough Trading Estate, when they had the hundreds. And everyone was very, very well sort of, they were all passionate about it. My
Mm.
parents, would interview, or mainly my mum actually would interview them and give them the job. And she gave people jobs to give them opportunities as well. It was like she was kind of before her time in that way.
Mm.
And
Mm.
females, and she wrote all those iconic female things.
Yeah.
Females at that time were like in the kitchen doing the
Yeah.
cooking.
Yeah. That's right. They didn't
So
have chauffeurs.
they didn't have chauffeurs exactly. They weren't doctors. Well, no, a
Yeah.
lot weren't. But
Yeah. Did your mum do all the drawings? Did she? So it sounds like she had great imagination, your mum Sylvie.
yes.
So do you have sketches of the puppets before they became puppets, or how did that all
Well,
work?
how she did it was she visualized everything in her head. And then
Right.
Mary Turner, or one of the puppeteers, would sculpt the heads
Yes.
under her vision. And so she'd
Oh,
say,
wow.
I want a very, a beautiful, for instance, a
Mm.
gorgeous looking guy, or that looks a bit like Sean Connery, because she was obsessed with Hollywood.
Oh, yeah.
And then
Sizzle,
she would
sizzle.
say,
Yeah, yeah,
exactly. Then she would
yeah.
say, "Oh, I want somebody like Audrey Hepburn," or
Mm,
and then with Lady Penelope, she really, really concentrated on Lady Penelope a lot.
mm,
And
mhm.
Mary, I spoke to recently. She's 90 something now, early
Yeah,
90s. Mary
yeah,
Turner, who's the original puppeteer who sculpted her. And she
yeah.
said she just couldn't get it right. She said she
Mm,
kept coming back, going, not quite right, not. So in the
mm.
end, she did her face without
Yeah.
telling her.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
That's
then
what I thought. I was going to say Lady Penelope looks like your mother. I was going to
it
I
say
was
that.
going to
does.
say, here she is.
Yes,
Look.
there she is.
Oh
Now,
my gosh,
speaking
that's
about
so.
Sean Connery, I'm
Yeah.
glad you brought that up because what I was going to say is James Bond, the most iconic UK British figure
Oh, my favorite.
culturally in the world when James Bond premiered in the UK in London and they had the premieres for the movies. Same thing with the Thunderbird. You guys were on the same tier. How big was
Yeah,
that when you had the premieres of the movies in the 60s? That must have been like mind blowing.
it was. I
Mm,
remember it. It was mind blowing. And
mm,
also, I mean, the thing is, I suppose when you're young, you don't really appreciate it so much. I mean, you just find it normal.
mm.
And like the discussions around the meal tables were more about what wig a puppet was, what color hair a puppet was going to have, or
Really?
yeah,
Uh,
or what sort of
yeah.
dialogue, how
Well,
her
because
back,
becomes a passion, doesn't it? The whole thing becomes
yeah,
really,
and it
and
does,
it's full
it
on.
does.
Yeah.
And
Oh
and
God.
Derek Meddings was the most amazing, amazing person. I mean, he was the special effects guy, so and
Mm,
he was just sensational.
Being in the UK and being world famous and international, I'm talking about the syndication of all the shows and how they were
mhm.
repeated. But when they first came out, you've got to understand, UK culture had so much effect on Australia. We got all the British
Yes,
shows first. We got
yes,
American shows, sure. But I'm telling you, the priorities were always the British shows. And
yeah,
Thunderbirds were it for the whole
Wow.
culture of the young people of that generation, which
yes.
shows then went into pop culture forever. And that's where they are.
Mm,
They are in pop
mm.
culture, even today.
That's absolutely right. And I remember my mum actually flew to Melbourne. That was about 20 years ago. She came to, or 25 years ago, she came to Melbourne. And then she did a tour of Australia. And she said when she arrived, I think it was I'm not sure if it was Melbourne, it was somewhere in Australia, maybe Sydney. She said all these people at the airport, and she thought, oh my God, there must be a pop group or a band arriving. And it was for her.
Yeah. Wow. What a reception.
Yeah, it was amazing. Amazing
Yeah.
And I
reception.
want you to
Yeah.
know seriously that Australia love everything your parents has done. I mean, your whole family, we love you. Culturally, we love everything about what your parents created because it lives on
Oh,
forever, and new generations of kids are seeing it
Mhm.
now. And that's the missing bit. We are one of the
Yeah.
yeah.
biggest markets in
Yeah.
Australia because I was
How,
speaking to someone today and he said to me, please tell Dee, my name's Steve, and I'm one of the biggest fans of the Thunderbirds, and I love Brains. And I wanted to
Oh,
say,
brains.
because
how
and the guy,
lovely.
Oh.
the guy was in his 40s, right? And he wanted me to say it. And I mean, he just said, I love the Thunderbirds. I love the Thunderbirds 5 times.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
Oh,
that's what happens when you grow up with the
But
Thunderbirds.
I think we all have a favorite, don't we? I mean, mine was Scott. I love
yeah.
Scott, and then Virgil, and
Yes.
I just I remember watching my brother. My brother actually asked for a Thunderbirds outfit one Christmas or one birthday, so he had
Yes.
that, and the Tracy Island and everything. And then when my daughters showed an interest, then I bought it again. So it's somewhere up in the loft, with all the vehicles and everything. But as I'm getting older, I'm getting very nostalgic about all these things, Dee. I want to see all of
Yeah.
them again. I want to see it all again. I want to play with it.
Yes.
It's terrible.
Yes, I know. I know. Do you know, it's amazing. Well, let me just say hello to Steve then. Hi,
Please.
Steve. That's your friend.
Oh, yeah, he's going to love this. But also, let me tell
Um,
you, with all the merchandising that was done, all the models, Century
Yeah,
21, the magazines,
Mm.
all this stuff is all part of pop culture even today.
Yeah.
it
People
is.
wait for
Yeah.
when they remake it and they're for sale again, and then all the Thunderbirds came again. They put out a new Thunderbirds show. I mean, they got stage plays, they got everything, and it keeps coming back because
It
Mm.
there's
does.
nothing like it. It was unique, and something that's
Yeah.
Yeah.
unique never dies. And I mean,
No.
it's just like you got the name
Mm.
Anderson,
Yeah.
and it's just like it just opens doors. And what I mean it opens
Yeah.
doors, meeting people and them expressing the love that they got for everything that you guys
Mm.
created is what really,
Yeah.
isn't that what it's all
Yeah.
about?
Dee, can
Yeah.
I ask you, do you do conventions? You know how we have these comic cons and we have like
Yes.
film comic cons in London. I go to the Olympia one a lot, but do you do all these conventions? Are there separate conventions for Thunderbirds, or how does all that work? Does
Well,
anything happen?
I'm actually doing a show at the moment, touring a show called Growing Up with Thunderbirds, where I tell about behind the scenes things that
Yeah,
went on there. And so I do that. But no, I've only just started doing that because I've been an actor in my own right
yeah,
and a singer. So
hmm
I really was not concentrating on Thunderbirds, if you know what I mean. I mean, it was all
yeah.
part of my heritage. I would love to do a Comic Con. And in fact, I was talking to my agent the other day who said,
Mm.
look, we must get you to some Comic Cons now that you're
Oh,
doing that.
please. Yeah,
So
please. Yeah.
yeah. And I want to come to Australia. So guys, get me to Australia.
And also, I think you've got to go to the US because, it's universal. And them
It
Yeah,
getting
is.
to talk to you,
global. Yeah.
talking about what it was like and things that only you know because you experienced it.
Yes.
That's the connection there. You see everything on the
Mm.
surface, and the shows, as I said, there was nothing like it. It was
There
Mm.
explosive
wasn't.
action on the Thunderbirds. Like, it's like I was reading about your dad. They wanted him to do some writing on James Bond, right? I was reading
Yeah.
about that. And that amazed me as well. I mean,
Mm.
Yeah.
creativity never stops. And
Yeah,
these
It
and the
is. That's it.
great,
imagination. Yeah, it's
great
fantastic.
warrior
Imagination.
nation, they just go
Yeah,
on and on and
Storytelling.
on. It's like,
yeah.
Captain Scarlet. You look at it today,
Oh,
it's modern. It's like modern
Yeah.
TV now.
I know.
the theme tunes, again, I mean, was that a team effort? Were there separate people to create the theme tunes, or again, was there an idea from your parents, and then it
Hmm.
was taken on board with the team, or how did that all work?
Yeah, well,
For
Barry
all of it.
Gray, yeah, Barry Gray, they'd known, and I knew him all my
Mm.
life, really. He used to come
Yeah.
around, and he was a very lovely northern guy, very unassuming,
Mm.
and he'd been Vera Lynn's pianist and arranger during the war. So he was
Wow.
very accomplished. He was a classical musician.
Mm.
He knew his stuff.
Yeah.
So he wrote a lot of the theme tunes. When it got to Thunderbirds, they wanted something very special because they knew that this was going to be a big hit because it's like they'd worked towards it, and they
Mm.
got everything
Mhm.
right. And I remember the day that they actually created Thunderbirds, the day they came up with the idea. And I
Mm.
was actually in the kitchen doing some drawing or doing whatever I was doing. And they came in and because they used to write in the garden. And they came in and they said, we've just, I mean, they knew I wouldn't really get it, but they were very excited. And I remember them saying, we've
Mm.
just got a really big hit series, and I thought, oh,
Wow.
really? Okay. And it's a bit like writing a hit record, isn't it? Where,
Yeah.
you kind of know that
You
it's a
just
bit
know.
special. And it
Yeah.
wasn't called Thunderbirds. I don't know what it was called then. I don't think they had a name for it, but
Oh, they didn't.
and
Oh.
not in the beginning, and then suddenly
Mm.
it was it evolved over the next sort of couple of months when they were writing it. But
But who dreamt up Thunderbirds? Where did that come from then? I
well,
mean,
this is
who
it.
came up?
It was because of international rescue, and there was
Yeah.
sort of Thunderbirds airplanes and all the rest of it. And my dad's brother was killed in the war. He was a great pilot, very
Hmm.
charismatic, amazing. But going back to Barry Gray, so Barry
Hmm.
Gray used to come around a lot, and so at this point they said, right, this is a very special series. So what we want from you is a combination of Dam Busters, which was one of my dad's favorite. He wasn't a big music fan, but he loved big instrumental. stuff.
Yeah.
And my mother loved, a lot of Hollywood stuff, but she loved Bonanza. So she said,
Oh,
do a
yeah. I
combination
remember
of
Bonanza.
Bonanza and Dam Busters. So you can see the influence of
Yes.
both. And he came
Right.
back with that,
Yeah.
with all the drum
Yeah.
beat and So that's how
Brilliant.
it evolved. That's how it
That is
became. And
genius.
it's
Yeah.
become iconic and played everywhere, at the Palace,
Uh,
everywhere.
can I just show you something? Because I know this will make you laugh, and you probably have seen it before, but I picked it up in a charity shop. I'm a charity shop person. Anyway, now,
Oh,
do you
wow.
remember when this came out?
Yes. Oh my God.
FAB featuring MC Parker. I mean,
Yes.
Thunderbirds. I love it. I absolutely love it. I mean, I love novel records anyway, but this is like this is really okay, isn't it?
It's
I mean,
brilliant. I love it.
isn't it? So yeah. So when that came out, what were your feelings about that?
Loved it. I mean, the thing is,
It was a
I
compliment, isn't
think
it? Such a great compliment.
yes. I mean, I know that the fans are very kind of, and quite rightly so. They're very protective. So anything that
Mhm.
comes up that's not the original, they go, no,
Mm,
that's not right. And I completely agree with them, right? I do.
mhm.
But the
Yeah.
way we feel is that it's keeping the whole thing alive. And then
Yeah.
people naturally go back to the original if they like, the vibe of what's happening with like the film in 2003, I think it was, with
Mm,
Sophia Miles, who was lovely actually. And my mum loved the whole, working title were the people who produced it, and she loved them, and they were at Pinewood. And they didn't get it right, but how can you get it right,
mm,
And then when Giles Ridge at ITV did the animation, again,
mm.
it's very hard to emulate the same thing. But I think
Oh
they
yeah.
did a good job in that they got another generation of people. And I think,
Mhm.
even like some of my friends, their grandchildren there, who are like between 5 and 10, they're getting into the original now. So it keeps the
Wow.
whole thing buzzing,
It does.
keeps
It's
it going,
ongoing.
keeps
Speaking about music, you know what's amazing about the Thunderbirds? The
yeah.
episode where you got Cliff Richard and the Shadows as puppets.
Yeah.
That
Oh
that
yes.
blows my mind because that to me is like
Yeah.
you've got it. You've captured
Yeah. I
Yeah.
love that.
Cliff Richard and the Shadows in the show.
Mm,
That's going to live on
Yeah.
yeah.
forever.
I saw you in someone else's car. You told me that he won't go too far. That may be so, but you let him know that I got friends. So baby, listen to me. A shooting star will shoot you, and Mars will go to war. The man in the moon will jump on you if you don't love me no more. You tell me that I'm the man for you, but you do things you should never do. So now hear this warning once again. Yes, I got friends, so baby listen to me. A shooting star will shoot you, and Mars will go to war. The man in the moon will jump on you if you don't love me no more.
Sabine,
Yeah.
have you met Cliff?
Oh yeah, a few times, yeah. And
Yeah,
I know I've met Brian Bennett and Bruce Welch is
yeah.
just down the road from me in Richmond. So yeah.
Because they had villas next to us in Portugal. But
They
that's
had
how it
what?
all came about. So Lou
Oh,
Grade gave the keys to a Rolls Royce and a villa in
yeah.
Portugal to my dad and said, "Here we are. That's part of the deal, right?
Oh,
As you did in the
right.
60s." And off we went to Portugal every year for a few years. And next door was Brian Bennett, and then there was Hank Marvin, Cliff Richard, and Olivia Newton-John used to come. We'd
Oh,
all go onto the beach, and me as a kid was like, wow,
wow.
And then there was a fantastic hotel called the Burr Vista, which was up the steps from our villa. So I could go up on any time and have chocolate mousse or an ice lolly. free.
Oh wow. What a memory. Love
What a
that.
spoilt child I must have been
I
at that
know.
point.
My gosh. I mean, there are so many
that
names.
brings back memories of Cliff Richard the Shadow singing on the beach.
Yeah. And I'll tell you what, it was the first time. Do you remember? I'm sure you're all too young to remember, but the Dan Set record player.
Yes, I had one.
What am I? I'm 7 years old and I'm watching the Thunderbirds for the first time, black and white TV, because colour TV
Yeah.
didn't come to Australia till 1975.
Wow.
Mhm. Yeah.
Wow.
I know.
So imagine, wait a minute, imagine what it was like after 1975 when they saw Thunderbirds in actual colour.
Yeah.
I know.
I know. I love the I love Australians, you know, Australian
Crazy
guys.
down here. We're
They don't
crazy
have
down
any
here.
filter. I love that.
Your memories of that Cliff Richard episode with the Shadows.
Yeah.
Your mum and dad discussed that the Cliff's going to be on it. You saw the puppets of Cliff and the Shadows before the show was filmed.
Well, I'll tell you how it all happened because my mother used to create the characters. And my dad was also very creative, but he was he was creative in a different way to her. So, but together they were dynamite, you know, like when two people come together with different things, but different strengths, but they complemented each other. But she was really good at discerning the sort of the facial things or the hearts, the soul of the characters, because she used to say to me, if you don't believe in the character, you don't care about the program. And that's true, isn't it? But because we got so friendly with Cliff, she asked him one day if it would be okay if he'd like to be part of it. And of course, because they were sort of massive at that time, Cliff and them, he said yes.
Just to Australia recently.
Yeah.
Cliff has.
Has
Yeah.
he?
Cliff
Oh,
did.
yes,
Yeah.
he has. Hasn't he?
Yeah,
Yeah, because he
came
wound
down.
up
He
at the
loved
Albert
it.
Hall. Yeah. That
Oh,
was the tail
really?
end.
Do you
Yeah.
know the only place I haven't gone is Sydney? I haven't been to Sydney.
Now, Dee, as an Australian and grew up in Australia here with all of the Jerry Anderson and Sylvia Anderson shows, it's very important, as you know, all these shows are in pop culture and will live on beyond us, right? Now, are you able to say something personal to all the Australian fans out there? I'm sure they'd appreciate it.
I would love to. I mean, I know that my parents loved Australia, and I love the Australians, and I'm just so grateful for this. Because my brother lived in Tasmania, my sister-in-law is still there, and I just want to say a big thank you to all of you for supporting my parents' legacy back then and going forward. And I just think, I just wanted to say this is a great opportunity for me to say thank you from all of us, from the family, the Andersons. Thank you.
So, Dee, we've got this Saturday a very special event happening in Hammersmith at the Riverside Studios. So it starts at 2 p.m. The tickets are
Yes.
still available, and you're going to be there with who else is going to be there with you to present your event?
Well, it's called the actual show is called Growing Up with Thunderbirds, and I have a lot of videos from the shows. I talk about my memories. I've got things like people from the studio talking, and guess who I'm bringing with me? You're not going to believe it, Lady Penelope herself, her
Oh my
ladyship.
gosh. I cannot wait.
So
I
you can have
cannot wait.
yes, a photograph with Lady Penelope. I mean, what better than that? And that's on
Oh,
the 2nd of May. And then I've got another one in June at this lovely place. I mean, I'll have to say Riverside is brilliant. But then there's one at the Mill at Sonning, which is quite different because you have dinner beforehand and it's very beautiful. George
yeah.
Clooney lives next door, by the way.
Where it actually is Sonning? Is it in Sussex somewhere?
No, it's near
Or
Reading in
oh, near
Berkshire,
Reading. Sorry,
near
I
Walgrave. Yeah.
Okay.
And
I'll try and
yes,
get
George
onto
Clooney.
that.
Yes, but, oh,
Yeah.
I'd love you to. And actually, the tickets are selling out for that.
Okay.
And then I'm doing Great Yarmouth as well at the end of July. Now, Great
Yeah.
Yarmouth it's called the Pavilion, and I used to sing there when I was a child because my grandparents would take me there for holidays
Yeah.
when they were going racing, horse racing, and they'd always put me up on a stage to sing, and I used to win all these competitions, but I wasn't quite sure whether that was my grandfather actually influence because he was a bit frightening. So, but I used to love it, and I'm looking forward to that as well. And there's others coming up, but I'll come back on and tell you about that.
Yeah. So a busy year.
Very busy year. Yeah, which is exciting, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, I have to get along and see you sing sometime because I haven't had the pleasure yet.
Oh, thank you, Sabine. That would be lovely. I'd love, well, I'll let
Yeah,
you know when the next gig is.
definitely. Definitely. Well, good luck with all that. And I'm looking forward to seeing you
Thank
on
you.
Saturday.
Thank you. Me
Thank
too.
you so
And
much for your time.
oh, do you know, it's a pleasure. It's been so lovely talking to both of you. And listen, I want to come to Australia, so let's sort it out.
Yep, I reckon
Me
you should
too.
come and give a series of talks.
Yes,
Yeah.
that would be lovely. Let's do it.
Yeah.
We'll let you know if anyone out there is interested. Get back to us.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
I'm going to ask
Yes.
you if you've ever seen the episode in the 60s of Skippy, right? You and your family.
Skippy the bush kangaroo.
Oh, I'm sure I have.
You know
I'm
the one
sure
that
I have.
goes, Skippy, 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 the bush kangaroo.
I remember watching it.
What happens is they had a park in Sydney, right? And there was the
Yes.
ranger in the park, and it was around Skippy. And what we didn't know is, and as a little kid, I didn't know, right? But what happens is they had two can openers that were Skippy hands, right? Like two pens. They were can openers. And when Skippy came to open the door, they had the two can openers open the door that looked like his little paws are opening the door.
Oh, that's how they did it.
I'm
I
serious.
wondered how they did that.
That's how they did it. They had
How
two can
clever.
openers because they used to have can openers with paws on it. And
Oh my God.
I'm driving down London with my wife in the cab. This is when I think we came to see you, Sabine, right? And we had
Yeah.
an English taxi driver. And I said to him, he goes, "You Australian?" I go, "I look like it, yeah." He goes, "I like Australian TV." And I go, "Yeah, what do you like?" He goes, "I like Skippy." And my wife and I go, "Skippy, Skippy." We're singing the song in the taxi as we're going down to London, right? I cracked up. Now, I'd just like to thank you, Dee, for being on our show. Sabine and I sincerely thank you, and it's been our honour. And it's been actually a privilege to talk to you today because when you work at something and you do something that's so creative that lasts forever and it's in pop cultures and embedded, and your family are pioneers. When it comes to making television shows, they were pioneers. They were before their time. And that's why these shows will last forever. And we just give you the biggest thank you on behalf of the world and ourselves, because that's really what it is. When you wake up every day and the sun's shining, believe me, there's so many lives and new generations out there that these shows touch. And it means a lot to everyone out there.
Yeah. It's brought a lot of
those-
joy, Dee. It's brought a lot of joy. I
Thank you
have to
so
say.
much. I've so enjoyed meeting you two guys, and I think you're pretty special as well, both of you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. It's been an honour for me too.
Thanks, everyone, and we'll see you again on the Plastic EP live TV show. See you, everyone.
Bye.
In the alley lies an old man, empty briefcase in his dead hands. Tell me, son, where did you sleep last night? Your dad is gone, empty space where it used to hang. Tell me, son, where did you sleep last night? Blind Winnie's always loved you since you were a boy. She's whispering through the keyhole. She sees blood upon the door. Screaming on the stairway, siren on the highway. Tell me, son, where did you sleep last night? a young bride who's with child is sobbing, staring at the floor. Rumors of robbery and run, John Doe and your daddy's gun. Tell me, son, where did you sleep last night?
Hot shot, born dead, living in the wrong head. Nothing on the right side, nothing on the left side, nothing on the outside, time bomb on the inside. Got to keep your face hard, living in the wrong yard. Looking at the fat man, showing off his suntan. Living on the front line, everybody wasting time. Checking out the baby wife, got to get a new life. Stay cool, look round, gotta keep your hood down.
I have always loved you since the day that you were born. Take what you need from me and run, my baby, run. Shadows in the hallway, cops upon the stairway. Tell me, son, where did you sleep last night? And if I could, I'll change with you tonight. Tell me, son, where did you sleep last night? Tell me, son, where did you sleep last night?